Good morning, everyone. Welcome back to NFT Art Talk Live in the morning, where we talk news, hot topic, and industry updates. We keep it nice, we keep it quick for you guys. We're literally here just to show you the things that we're looking at when we're looking at the industry, and then give you a little bit of our perspective from the point of musicians, professionals, entrepreneurs. We both are into this. This is what we do. When Karthik and I get really excited about something, we dive in. And this time we decided, let's share it all with you. If you haven't met us before, my name is Moshe, aka DJ Fetus, and this is my homie Karthik NFT in all the places. What's good, my dude?
Just chilling, man. Waking up early, getting into the NFT news with you, man. Feeling excited, happy that I'm just awake, alive, and just experiencing this cool environment.
I agree, man. Although I will be honest, I woke up a little sad this morning. I put my trashy Miami gear on and changed my hat because I was like really sad about last night's game. So we're not going to talk about that here. But I did just realize I was telling Cardi before we got on air. I was like, something's weird in our house, and I'm like, oh, dude, it's probably because I was super mad when I went to sleep last night. But anyways, enough of that. If you're new to the channel, we want to welcome you in here to our community of acceptance and celebration. We always like to start out the episode just asking for a little bit of support. So if you're with us on YouTube, please don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and click that notification bell so you know when we have new videos or when we're live. And if you're with us on Twitter, we just want to ask you, please don't forget to like the post, retweet it so your friends know about the show, and then go ahead and follow the NFT Art Talk or DJ Fetus or Karthik or however you heard about this. In the meantime, we're going to go ahead and dive into a little bit of the industry updates that we have. So it's Teztuesday, big day for us. So we're going to stay focused on Tezos today. Our homies do some really awesome spaces on Twitter. If you're new to NFTs, that's one space Karthik and I always say, jump on Twitter and get in a Twitter space to learn. But Tezos is a blockchain. Really, a lot of its purpose is focused on NFTs. I mean, it's a fairly reputable decentralized chain as well. We want you to do your own research on crypto and projects that we show you. So anyways, just a couple of this is on Objekt. They're one of the main marketplaces for Tezos, and we're looking at 24-hour volume right now. We can look at owners here in a moment too, because that's always an interesting stat. But man, see, this is one thing I find really interesting about Tezos. Every week we look at it, and the 24-hour volumes are different, right?
Right.
These are new.
And it seems like there's always newer kind of collections in there.
Yeah, I love that. I love that. And these are not like necessary. I think Tez right now it hovers in the $1.50 to $2 range. We got to start getting that on our market updates on Monday, Wednesday, Friday. But yeah. So, anyways, this is $700 is somewhere in that range of movement in the last 24 hours, and then like the topper ones or the higher ones like Rebel and You, Amniotic, the Tokyo Show. You're looking at closer to $10,000, 843, like those ranges in the last 24 hours. And then and Hickok Nunk is you can just think of it as a lot of artists put together. If you don't know the space, it's kind of like a different marketplace, but it's built into Objekt. It's too confusing for us to tell you about in 1 minute, but it does make sense. Yeah, and then when we look at number of owners, which is an interesting stat because to me that's kind of like your community, people that own it. You start to see some other people in the top, which is pretty cool. Papa John's hot packs. Wow.
You know what's funny about this, man? I just realized when we're looking at it, all these collections kind of seem like band names. It's almost like each collection is like emulating like the starting of a band. Now that I look at all this stuff, man.
I couldn't agree more, man. Sorry, this is just another interesting stat I wanted to talk about while we go there. This is floor price that I just pulled up for you guys. So top floor prices on Objekt. Yeah, right, man. It is, especially when we talk about Tezos and the band. I don't know. Tezos just reminds me I don't know why, but like when I put my art up here and when I go hang out with the community, honestly, man, it reminds me of like just rocking our band, like our band, the band that Karthik and I were in for a long time, and like kind of like a dive bar vibe. Like I feel
Right.
like
Yeah.
talking to these people, we're all having fun. No one gives a shit about any of it. You know, we're just having fun doing our art, man. We don't care about what people think. And I just get that vibe. I honestly, I'm really. This is just my personal opinion, as Karthik and I say all the time. We're not financial advisors, but I'm really digging Tezos. I'm not gonna lie. And just on that same theme, you know, let's just look at all time marketplaces for Tezos. According to this site we found last week, DAP Radar. And so yeah, we just thought we'd highlight some of the top Tezos marketplaces in case you're wondering. Hikak Nunk, we mentioned that one, which is, I think it's built into a couple different types of. It's a decentralized marketplace is the way to think of it.
Okay, so I know like Foundation, whenever you do their contracts with Foundation's another website basically that's a marketplace that's kind of akin to OpenSea. So the other kind of like big Ethereum one that everybody kind of shouts out here and there. Decent interface, but I know when the contracts are done with Foundation, it's kind of under their marketplace. So maybe it's kind of similar kind of methodology, like you're talking about, like you said, because it's a group of artists in that marketplace, correct?
Yeah. Well, okay. So I don't know. I don't see. That's why I'm saying
Right.
I don't know if I feel like I have enough of the history to like really talk about it on the show. But I will come back next Tuesday with more explanation. How about that?
All
It's
right. Cool.
something to the extent of like, you know, the founder of Hikak Nunk was like getting pissed off because the marketplace was like becoming way too centralized. So he just like dispersed it out and was like, fuck it, you
Right.
know. And so like there's like a bunch of different artists, so you'll have your stuff, like you could have your stuff simultaneously with Hikek Nunk and Object, but I don't understand if it's at a contract level, like a development level.
Right.
And then I think like you can also build your own marketplace using Hikek Nunk because I believe it's like an open source. So like I just want to understand that better.
Right.
And
Right.
unfortunately we're in a space tonight, or I'm going to go to the space tonight where these guys are going to know. And that's what I'm saying. I'm just recanting some stories that I heard. I need to learn it a little better, and I apologize for even bringing it up here without having a better understanding. But our main intention here is just to show you guys like the different places where Tezos is listed, like the most popular places. And yeah, like Karthik said, Hikak Object is the one that we talk about a lot and where some of our stuff is, and then Rarible is another one that is really popular and I've heard of a lot. And because it also has Ethereum and Matic and a couple other chains you can sell on Rarible. But that's what I'm saying. I think Hikak Nunk somehow is involved with that too. Like I don't really understand it, but let's get
Also,
it.
I
Okay, no,
I
go for it.
noticed one last thing. Bob Agar, who throws a lot of the shill spaces or the spaces where you could contribute your art and they buy it. I saw him doing a Tez space, so probably just shows, at least on the underground tip of these independent artists, just shows like Tezos is easier to probably transact with, honestly, with this
Oh my
like
God, I can
space.
attest to
Yeah,
that. I don't even feel
yeah,
bad, man.
yeah,
It's like less than a pin. I mean, dude, like I mean, transaction fees are lower. Buying it is just as easy as buying Matic or ETH, you know.
right,
And like I said, the community is. I mean, it doesn't surprise me that Bavugar is doing that because I do notice that, like, you know, the Middle East and the East are a lot of Tez artists, man. You know, like a lot of Tez, like in the Teztuesday space, our friend Base's host, it's like a lot of like Arab people and people from India and even Southeast Asia is really well represented there. Like a lot of our friends, like even Tito and a lot of our friends in like Indonesia area are all Tez, dude. All of his friends are Tez. That's what I'm saying. There's something interesting going on in Tezos. But we're not financial advisors. And Kartik and I are one of one artists. So a lot of the things that we think are like, wow, this is so tight. It's, yeah, like Kartik said, like Tezos seems to be like the communities remind us of like, because that's what was happening in those dive bars, right?
right,
Is it was like that Kartik and I were talking about. It's not like, oh, this reminds me of some shitty dive bar that sucks. It smells like puke, right? No, it's like this reminds me of like us playing in the dive bar, and the people that were at the show were the other 12 bands that were playing at that dive bar that night. We all stuck around to watch each other. We all got our fans to stick around and watch the other bands. You know what I mean? Like, that was the dive bar to a musician. You know, like, you remember those shows, man? Like, you know what I mean?
Those are great shows, yeah, man. It's just like you're hanging out with a whole bunch of artists, basically. So that's what we're getting to, like these independent artists hanging out. It also kind of reminds me of the jam room we had, because we had a jam room where there was probably like 30 other bands kind of hanging out in the jam room with their own kind of individual jam rooms, and you would all just kind of hang out, talk about the shows you're about to do or the flyers you got or like what new album you have, and then you would go to these shows and it'll be a lot of artists around you. So that's where it's like tight in those Tez spaces. I do feel what you're saying. It's like these group of artists, but it's not just secluded to music. It's like you have visual artists, you have like comedian artists, poet artists, all these different artists. So it's just about connecting in that kind of room. And Tezos does have that feel, honestly, because it's like Ethereum seems kind of like the rich people one. Like, hey, you got enough money to spend on gas, then you could buy that, right? But Tezos and Polygon, which is Polygon's a subchain underneath the Ethereum, is like there's no gas fee. So you just kind of find these artists that maybe not have too much money yet because they're just developing their art. They're coming together to kind of support each other. So I feel the same vibe, man. Dive bar kind of jam room vibe where you're just kind of connecting with artists.
Yeah, I mean, and like, and the artist got the artist backs. You know what I mean? So I would love to see, you know, some more collectors come in. So I just quickly made this little title here because we keep on talking about the Teztuesday Twitter space that our buddy Bases puts on. So go to twitter.com/Bases Music, and then we're gonna get into some news. Go into this and follow this guy and come join the space with us on Tuesdays, because honestly, you're going to learn a lot about Tezos. Bases, you can jump up on stage in this Twitter space and just ask him about Hickek Nunk, or he's a very knowledgeable cat. A good friend of ours too. So, but this is how I found out about Tezos, outside of like our homie Mofos being like, yo, you should check out Tezos, when it was like 30 cents a coin. He's like, I think there's going to be a bunch of artists on here. And then he like figured out Hickek Nunk and like got his stuff up there. And, but regardless of all of that, you know, please follow Bases and then come join us in the spaces. I think it's at 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, which is 9 Central, 10 Eastern. I think. I don't know. I wish I knew. Man, I'm failing you guys on this. I'll look it up while Karthik is diving into this first bit of news for us. Okay.
Let's do this, man. So that yeah, the first news article I came across this morning was this eBay one. So eBay taps one of for debut sports theme NFT drop. The release marks the online marketplace of Giants' first foray into digital collectibles. So popular e-commerce platform eBay has released its debut collection of non-fungible tokens, a hockey themed drop in partnership with Tezos and Polygon-based NFT platform One of. So I think One of actually helped out with the Grammy drops too of NFTs earlier this year. eBay officially announced its interest in digital collectibles early in May, though its CEO, Jamie Ionin, had teased the possibility of integrating the tech for months. The prices of NFTs range from $10 to $1,500, purchasable via the same fiat payment methods as the platform's physical items. The first one features hockey legend Wayne Gretzky. Wayne Gretzky was a big hockey player back in the day, like in the 90s and stuff. The move marks a continued push from traditional e-commerce platforms interested in blockchain. StockX, a sneaker shopping platform and eBay rival, launched its own NFT marketplace this year. eBay is the second largest e-commerce platform in the US behind Amazon with more than 140 million users. I just want to highlight this article, just another example of these big kind of companies jumping in the foray of NFTs and blockchain. So just as like, everyone's like, is the market in a bear market's going down? Yeah, markets go up and down. It just cycles of it, honestly. The long-term investor or just the long-term participant in it just thinks, hey, I'm going to look at this like 5 or 10 years. But when you do see big companies like this in there, it just shows you they're dabbling their feet in it. They're looking at it probably more long-term, and they're also just getting in the start of it. So like I always say, this industry is such at an infancy. If you're just looking at it right now, you're far ahead of like where it's going to go. But yeah,
Yeah,
man.
and how cool that it was only $10. Sorry, I know that that
Yeah.
could be a lot of money, but it was $10 on
Right.
eBay.
Yeah.
So it's cool that that's kind of feels like eBay too, like make it accessible to your audience. So when these big companies are doing it and they're not making it like some exclusive, the exclusivity is
Right.
like be there first. It's not, some value to buy. But yeah, on that same note, we thought we'd show this real quick. Magic Johnson launches an NFT collection on NBA Top Shot, which I think is really interesting, like on a lot of levels. One, I love Magic Johnson. He's like a bit of a hero, and so I love to see that he's found a way to take some of his most popular moments in his career and kind of sell them. I know we talked about Popovich and other sports teams doing this. It's kind of cool to see like a player doing it. It's really cool to see the NBA using the Top Shot website, and it makes you kind of wonder, like, is the NBA Top Shot just going to be like, hey, if you're in the NBA, this is where you come to release your moments, and instead of going to like Tops or some collectible company that's going to make your card and they're going to get their cut, the NBA is going to take the cut and give whatever to the player. Or are we going to see some of the other stuff that we reported on this show where the players are going to go make their own NFTs in their own marketplaces even, and recruit their own friends to come and be a part of that? Like, this is interesting to see, but that's kind of what I pulled out of this. Is it's like not just that Magic's dropping something, which is hot and I'm excited about it, but it's the way he's dropping it through this NBA Top Shot website. I'm going to call it website/market space. And like, what does that mean for the future of NBA players? Karthik and I would love to see NBA players doing it themselves, because that's really what this whole space is about. And but we'll see how it all plays out.
Yeah, I think a lot of that has to do with their collective bargaining agreement when they sign it with the leagues. So basically, the Players Association is like a separate entity from like the NBA, which is like run by board of governors, basically, of the owners of the team and such like that, and the commissioner. So they have to sign agreements every few years saying like, hey, these are how we're going to license our rights out. And since NFTs was so new right now, there probably wasn't any kind of structural lettering in the agreements about that. So it's just such a new space. So yeah, you do see these people like doing, their own releases, and I encourage that just as an artist owning your own stuff. But it's probably going to be a collaboration between the two, because I think NBA Top Shots run through Dapper Labs, which is kind of a big company in the NFT space, and then also NBA is just huge. So they're just trying to probably figure out what the cut is between them and the athletes and how they want to use the material that NBA is creating along with their own personal material. It comes back to that, right? It's like who owns the content, who's creating the content.
Exactly. And that's what we're here to do, guys. We're just here to follow along and give you some thoughts. And then we'll follow up and see where it lands, and be a part of this. And we want to encourage you to be a part of this. So thank you so much for hanging out with us this morning. We really appreciate it. We're here every morning talking about news, hot topics, and industry updates like you just saw. If you're new to the channel, don't forget to like and subscribe. If you're on YouTube, click that notification bell so you know when we're live and when we're releasing some new music. And also, if you're on Twitter, come on over to YouTube. Just come on over here and do all the things I said. I mean, you can retweet, you can follow there, but come on over. This is where we're having fun. If you can't find the link, just type in NFT Art Talk into your YouTube search bar and you're going to find us. And quickly, before we get off, I couldn't find the time of the space tonight. I tried to look, but please don't forget to follow our buddy Bases at twitter.com/basesmusic and join a Teztuesday Twitter space to learn more about what's popping in Tez, like in the scene. But otherwise, I'll let Karthik close us down. I hope you guys have a great day. We'll see you at 1 p.m. this afternoon for NFT Art Talk, 1 p.m. Central Time, Chicago time, for where we talk about art and artists that inspire us.
Yeah, so appreciate your time, Moshe. Thanks for just kind of putting this together so that we could get the news there and just sending positive vibrations out to everybody. Everybody goes through certain things in their life, but we're all here together. We're all breathing. We're hopefully able to kind of walk around and enjoy nature. So just sending out that positive vibe. Go out there, enjoy some art, and be kind to everybody.
Thank you guys so much. Have an awesome Tuesday.